Recovery is about breaking cycles, and so is echo chamber. The first step is awareness, recognizing that what you're seeing isn't the full picture. The second step is action. In recovery, that might mean changing your environment or setting boundaries. With social media, it could mean adjusting your privacy setting, limiting data tracking, or being more intentional about what you engage with. But the most important step in recovery and echo chambers is seeking outside perspective. In recovery, that might look like listening to a sponsor, a counselor, or a support group, people who challenge you, people who tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's tough. Intellectually, it means reading different viewpoints other than your own, questioning sources, and being open to the possibility that you might be wrong. I want to thank my sponsors. If you don't know Greg Swartz and JB Davis, the first thing I want to say about them is they're incredible men of integrity, men of honesty, men you can trust. I can tell you firsthand that Greg and JB care about people, but I encourage you to go check them out. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Recovery Couch, where we deliver unapologetic, real, faith-based stories and messages covered by the blood of Jesus. This is a space where we speak from the heart without filters, because Psalm 139 verse 4 reminds us that God knows our words before we ever speak them. Romans 5:8 tells us that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. That's why the Recovery Couch exists, to meet people exactly where they are. Because here we believe when you offer someone a space to be real, you're also offering them a space to heal. Today we're going to learn together. We're going to learn about the echo chamber, and we're going to throw the recovery lens on our understanding of the echo chamber. So today's episode is a little different, as we're talking about echo chambers through the lens of recovery. Not just recovery from addiction, but recovery of the mind, recovery of independent thinking. Because believe it or not, the same patterns that keep people stuck in addiction can also keep us stuck in the way we think. What is an echo chamber? An echo chamber is an environment where you only hear ideas that reinforce what you believe. Social media is one of the biggest places that this happens. In recovery, that should sound familiar. Addiction thrives in isolation and repetition. The same thoughts, the same justifications, the same behaviors, over and over again. No challenge, no interruption. Echo chambers work the same way. They keep us mentally comfortable, but intellectually stuck. Two key ideas behind echo chambers are challenge avoidance and reinforcement seeking. Challenge avoidance is the desire to avoid being wrong. Reinforcement seeking is the desire to feel right. In recovery terms, that's denial. It's the voice that says, I've got this under control, even when the evidence suggests otherwise. It's the tendency to surround yourself with people or ideas that will never question you. But growth, real growth, it requires discomfort. It requires being challenged. Just like in recovery, where progress begins when we confront hard truths, when we confront intellectual freedoms, and when we begin to allow our own beliefs to be questioned. So we know about social media algorithms, and they're designed to learn from you. Every like, every comment, every click, it all feeds the system. And over time, your feed becomes a reflection of your past behaviors. In recovery, we talk a lot about triggers. For me, talk about it. You hear it in recovery rooms. You hear it with your sponsors. People, places, and things. Habits and hangups and hurts. All these things that pull us back into old patterns or our old way of thinking. Well, algorithms can act like digital triggers. They'll keep feeding you the same type of content. They'll keep reinforcing the same beliefs. And they will keep you in the same mental loop. And just like with addiction, if we don't interrupt the pattern, it gets worse. Inside of these echo chambers, misinformation spreads easily. Not because it's true, but because it's repeated and it's accepted. If everyone around you believes something, then it starts to feel like it's a fact. And that's not so different from rationalization in addiction. Our minds become very good at justifying what it wants to believe. For instance, I deserve this. It's not that bad. Everyone else is doing it. In both cases, the truth gets buried underneath repetition and comfort. Recovery is about breaking cycles, and so is echo chambers. The first step is awareness, recognizing that what you're seeing isn't the full picture. The second step is action. In recovery, that might mean changing your environment or setting boundaries. With social media, it could mean adjusting your privacy settings, limiting data tracking, or being more intentional about what you engage with. But the most important step in recovery and echo chambers is seeking outside perspective. In recovery, that might look like listening to a sponsor, a counselor, or a support group. People who challenge you, people who tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's tough. Intellectually, it means reading different viewpoints other than your own, questioning sources, and being open to the possibility that you might be wrong. Here's the truth. Both recovery and intellectual freedom require discomfort. They require stepping outside of what feels safe and comfortable. Echo chambers promise comfort, but at the cost of growth, and that's a pretty high price. And recovery demands effort, but it offers freedom, and that's a pretty big return on investment. And that freedom isn't just about breaking habits. It's about reclaiming your ability to think, your ability to question, and your ability to choose for yourself. Whether it's addiction or the way that we consume information, the pattern is the same: awareness, honesty, and change. So the next time you scroll through your feed, ask yourself, 1, is the recovery couch part of my algorithm? And 2, am I being informed or just reinforced? Because recovery isn't about just what we stop doing. It's also about how we start thinking. I want to thank you for listening. And remember, you always have a seat right here on the recovery couch.